The House will come to order. The invocation today will be given by the Honorable Carol Glanville, State Representative from the 84th District. Will members, staff, and guests in the gallery please rise? Representative.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is an honor to give today's invocation. My life has taken me down many paths. Over the course of that journey that brought me here today, I've had the opportunity to experience many faith traditions. And I've found that all faith traditions share common basic tenets of mutual respect, dignity for all, and care for the common good. Tenets that serve us well in the work we do here in this chamber. It is with that in mind that I offer today's invocation with an ecumenical spirit. I invite you all to take a deep breath with me and center yourself as we gather here today to conduct the business of the people. And take a moment to reflect on the great responsibility that we have been entrusted with as elected representatives. As we approach our work, let us invoke reason, wisdom, clarity, courage, and above all else, compassion in our decision-making. Let us open our hearts and minds to truly hear, understand, and accept the lived experiences of others, striving to be just and equitable in our actions, seeking the common good above all else. Let us engage in constructive dialogue and seek common ground as we tackle the challenges that face our state. And as we work amongst ourselves with stakeholder groups and individual constituents, may we approach others with equanimity, respect, and openness. And finally, let us be grateful for the trust that has been placed in us. May we use this privilege to serve with humility and dedication, always mindful of the greater good. Amen.
The clerk will open the board for the purpose of taking attendance. The board is now open. Members may check in at their desks.
If I could have the members' attention for purposes of an introduction, the chair recognizes Representative Schuette.
Thank you very much. And I have today joining me in the South Gallery 23 students and 6 adults from the City of Midland Central Park Elementary School. Welcome to the House Gallery.
Would Representative Schuette, special guest, please rise? Welcome to the House of Representatives.
Members, please check in at your desks. Members, please check in at your desks. We will be closing the board shortly. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
I move to excuse all absent members.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will close the board, tally, display, and announce today's attendance.
Madam Speaker, a quorum of the House is present. There are no members absent with prior excuse.
Will members, staff, and guests in the gallery please rise and join me now in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Members, we're going to have colleagues wishing to address the body, and there's going to be several announcements, so please quiet down, and if you have to have a conversation, please take it off the floor. Speaker recognizes Speaker Tate.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself and my colleague from the 42nd District would like to welcome today the children of staff and members that are here today for Bring Your Child to Work, and we want to welcome them here to this august chamber, and myself and my colleague, and just say thank you.
Will members please join me, and will guests please rise? And will members join me in welcoming everyone to the Michigan House of Representatives? Yep. Speaker recognizes Representative Young.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today I rise to acknowledge a birthday on tomorrow. One of our awesome colleagues will be celebrating a 35th birthday on tomorrow, and I would just like to say happy birthday and many blessings to my good colleague from House District 17.
I'm not quite sure what protocol is with this, but thank you very much, Representative Young. Speaker recognizes Representative Vanderwall.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. On behalf of the Legislative Dutch Caucus, today we are celebrating King's Day. King's Day, or Koningsdag, is a Dutch national holiday that celebrates the birthday of the King or Queen of Netherlands. Despite starting in 1800s, it's only been celebrated 3 Kings or Queens Day. Originally, it is called Princess Day in honor of Princess Wilhelmina, by the way, some of the best peppermints, 5th birthday in 1885. After Wilhelmina's daughter Juliana ascended, it became known as Queen's Day and celebrated her birthday the 31st of August. Now, after celebrating Beatrix's birthday on April 30, it's called King's Day and is celebrated on April 27 for King Wilhelmina Alexander, who has been king since 2013. Today it is celebrated with traditions like Free Market or Free Market Day, which is like a countywide garage sale. The government allows street vending without a permit or added value tax. They also celebrate Orangeit or Orange Madness Day, where many people wear orange clothing, paint, or even drink orange drinks, all in honor of the House of Orange, which rules over Nesville.
Members, our colleague brought us cookies and some of us flowers. The least you can do is give him your attention. Please take your conversations off the floor if you need to have them right now. Speaker recognizes Representative Vanderwall.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What the power of cookies will do, right? To celebrate the day, we put Dutch windmill cookies on your desk, and members of the Dutch Caucus have tulips on their desks today. We appreciated MLC sponsoring these items. On behalf of the MI Legislative Dutch Caucus, please enjoy the greatest cookies on earth. And with that, I will turn it over to another great Dutch lady, Nancy de Boer.
Thank you. I'm so excited to celebrate King's Day. We're so glad to be able to do it in the House of Representatives. It's a huge honor. Many people don't realize how many Dutch people we have in the United States. And Michigan is the home to most of them. So we have about 10% of the Dutch population in our country in Michigan. And Michigan was, I used to be the mayor of Holland, so I can't help but say, Van Raalte was a minister in the Netherlands, and it wasn't going too well, so he and his congregation came here for freedom. And they got stuck in an ice jam in Detroit. They were planning to go to Wisconsin, but people from the west side came to meet him and convinced him, why don't you stay in Michigan? So he did. And after they moved into the very dense forest area of Holland, the governor at the time, in his State of the State address, said, that hardy group of foreigners in such a dense forest ask for nothing but roads with which to sell their product. And so we are really thrilled to be a part of the state of Michigan and to recognize the Dutch Americans. And I want to also announce the start of tourist season for the state of Michigan is the 6th of May with the beginning of tulip time in Holland, and it goes through the 14th, Mother's Day. So please come on down, enjoy the tulips, the flowering trees, the dancers, and the parades. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Colleagues, join me in thanking our Dutch caucus. Speaker recognizes Representative Shannon.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today I have a special guest in the East Gallery. Matthew Thomas has been interning in my office over this past semester and has done a great job, and just wanted to recognize him today.
Colleagues, Matthew, please rise. And colleagues, please join me in welcoming Matthew to the House of Representatives and thanking him for his service. Speaker recognizes Minority Floor Leader Posthumus.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Representative Gina Johnson and I have been are fortunate to be joined by the Lowell High School wrestling team. They won their 10th straight national or state title in wrestling, and I believe that is the first time that's ever been done in the state of Michigan for any sport. And on top of that, there are 3 special guests within that team that I would like to acknowledge. My niece and nephew, Easton Lyons and Charlie Lyons, and then also Connor Smith, who has just been accepted into the Air Force Academy.
Will the guests of Representative Posthumus please rise? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. Speaker recognizes Representative Leitner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today to recognize my legislative director in my office, Marcus Keach. He is going to be moving on from this great institution to serve in another capacity in Lansing. But to give some background, Marcus has been here in the legislature for 6 or 7 years. He really couldn't remember, so I couldn't memorialize that. But anyways, he has been a great asset to my office. He's been with me for almost 2 years, serving the 65th and the 45th now currently. He's done a great job learning the different interests that I have for our district. He's also done a great job helping organize the Legislative Sportsmen's Caucus. And then also, you know, obviously the other thing we can't really talk about in this chamber in regards to placing us here. So he's done a great job, has been a great team member, has been a great asset to the institution. And with that, I would just want to give my thanks to Marcus for the last almost 2 years in my office and the last 6, 7 years in this institution.
Colleagues, please join me in thanking Marcus for his years of service to the Michigan House of Representatives. Speaker recognizes Representative Slaw.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today, I would like to acknowledge the 28 students and 6 adults from the Jenison area from Rosewood Elementary School who are in the East Gallery.
Will the guests of Representative Slaw please rise? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. Speaker recognizes Representative Martis.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wanted to quickly introduce one of the most important people in the world to me, one of my best friends, Clara Wilson, who is my guest on the floor today. She is not my daughter, even though it's Bring Your Child to Work Day. We first met years ago in a previous Democratic leader's office. I was an intern. She was the best boss I ever had, and she left that role at the height of the pandemic, so she never got a proper goodbye on the House floor. She's in town. Just wanted to have her on the floor. I wouldn't be where I am or who I am without her friendship, and because she never got to say properly goodbye on the floor, just wanted to bring her here today. Thank you.
Will the guests of Rep. Martis please stand? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Move to see the order of second reading bills. Take up calendar item number 26, House Bill 4201.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar item number 26, House Bill 4201, introduced by Representative Grant. A bill to amend the Michigan Liquor Control Code of 1998. People of the State of Michigan, enact.
The bill be considered read for a second time by its title. Are there amendments? There being no amendments, the question for the House is advancing the bill to the order of third reading. Hearing no objection, the bill is on third reading. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Continuing the order of second reading bills, we'll take up calendar item number 40, House Bill 4238.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar item number 40, House Bill 4238, introduced by Representative Andrews. A bill to make, supplement, and adjust appropriations for certain capital outlay projects for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2023. People of the State of Michigan, enact.
The bill be considered read for a second time by its title. Are there amendments? There being no amendments, the question for the House is advancing the bill to the order of third reading. Hearing no objection, the bill is on third reading. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ash.
Continuing order of second reading bills, move to table calendar item number 36, Senate Bill 18.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar number 36, Senate Bill 18, a bill to amend an act to designate March 31 of each year as Cesar E. Chavez Day in the state of Michigan.
The bill is considered read for a second time by its title. Are there amendments? There are amendments. The clerk will read.
Committee on Judiciary, Representative Breen Chair, recommends the adoption of substitute H1.
The question before the House is the adoption of the amendment. The clerk will open the board. The amendment is adopted. Are there further amendments? There being no further amendments, the question before the House is advancing the bill to the order of third reading. Hearing no objection, the bill is on third reading. Channel 9 and 10 News are given permission to record today's session. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ash.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to see the order of motions and resolutions and take up calendar item 4, House Resolution 8-3.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
Calendar item number 4, House Resolution number 8-3, introduced by Representative St. Germain. A resolution to declare April 29, 2023 as Fraternal Order of Eagles Day in the state of Michigan.
Members, we are going to have several colleagues wishing to address the body today. I know it's hectic, but will you please quiet down? And if you have to have conversations, please take them off the floor. Thank you. Speaker recognizes Representative St. Germain.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today to speak in favor of House Resolution 83. This resolution declares April 29, 2023 as Fraternal Order of Eagles Day in the state of Michigan. The Fraternal Order of Eagles is an international nonprofit organization uniting fraternally under the mission statement, Make Human Life More Desirable, by promoting peace, prosperity, gladness, and hope. Here's a little bit of history behind the Fraternal Order of Eagles. 125 years ago, 6 theater owners got together to put an end to an ongoing musician strike. According to popular belief, after their discussions of breaking the strike, the men began to discuss their lives in society and decided they would bury the hatchet, so to speak, and organize under the expression, the Order of Good Things. Later that year, they formally organized on April 29th of 1898 becoming the Fraternal Order of Eagles. Throughout history, they have had seven different American presidents hold membership, including Theodore Roosevelt, John F. Kennedy, and Ronald Reagan. Today, there are over 800,000 members nationwide. In Michigan alone, there are over 82,000 members. In the Fraternal Order of Eagles, the term Eyrie is the name of the building in which members meet and hold events. An eyrie in nature is the nest of any bird of prey, including eagles and hawks. The Fraternal Order of Eagles has founded over 1,500 eyries to date. In our great state of Michigan, there are 117 eyries. It might surprise some that the Eagles is not just a place for members to socialize and enjoy a cold beer. The Eagles are very active in their communities and have raised millions of dollars to provide grants to healthcare institutions, drug education programs, Diabetes Research Center, and St. Jude's Children's Hospital, just to name a few. The Eagles have shown passionate investment in its members' communities by distributing thousands of memorials, as well as plaques to parks, courthouses, and city halls. The Fraternal Order of Eagles also advocated to create Mother's Day. So don't forget Mother's Day is coming up in just a couple weeks. I hope my kids are watching. Now, after 125 years of service to people and communities here in Michigan, it is with great respect that the Michigan House of Representatives honor the Fraternal Order of Eagles and its members and recognize their numerous and admirable achievements, passion, and drive to help those in need. I ask that my colleagues support my resolution. Thank you.
The question before the House is the adoption of House Resolution 83. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Continuing the order of motion resolutions, move to take up calendar item number 5, House Resolution 84.
Without objections to order, the clerk will read.
Calendar item number 5, House Resolution number 84, introduced by Representative Tyrone Carter, was read in a previous session and passed for the day.
Speaker recognizes Representative Carter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today, my resolution would declare April 23rd through April 29th Crime Victims' Rights Week in the state of Michigan. Since the implementation of Crime Victims' Rights Act in 1981 and the passage of a constitutional amendment in 1985, the state of Michigan has adopted some of the nation's most comprehensive laws to protect the rights of crime victims. Although we have made great strides in reducing the crime rate, there are still far too many incidents of crime, and even more in recent years, as we have sadly witnessed. In fact, research indicates that less than half of the violent crimes and less than 40% of property crime is reported. The most recent National Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence Survey have estimated that today in Michigan there are over 1,700,000 survivors of sexual violence, and from 20 to 2016, over 2.6 million people have been reported as victims. If this is inaccurate, then less than half of the crimes reported in Michigan residents of the 5 million have been reported over the 6 years. Crime Victim Week is an opportune time to commit to ensuring that all victims of crimes are offered accessible and appropriate services to aid in the recovery from crime and abuse. Victims need to be believed, and services need to be available to assist them in their journey from being a victim to becoming a survivor. Let us focus on what is the importance of early intervention and victim services in establishing trust with victims, which in turn begins to restore their hope for healing and recovery. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I'd like my comments to be printed in today's journal. No.
The question for the House is the adoption of House Resolution 84. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to highlight one thing. I know we just talked about King's Day. My last name in another life was spelled A-I-Y-A-A-S-H, like my colleague from the 44th District. So I am 10% Dutch today. So.
Hopefully you can get your tulips. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Continue on the order of motions and resolutions. I move to take up House Resolution 9-0.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
House Resolution number 9-0, introduced by Representative Hayash, a resolution to declare April 2023 as Second Chance Month and April 23 through the 29th, 2023 as Reentry Week in the state of Michigan.
Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Every year, more than 600,000 Americans and over 8,000 Michiganders return home after serving a sentence and begin to reenter society with a desire to improve their lives. However, too often, returning citizens are presented with incredible challenges that have devastating effects on their ability to find meaningful employment, stable housing, access to education, and other opportunities for themselves and their families. These barriers not only punish formerly incarcerated individuals long after their sentence is completed, but it also increases chances of recidivism for themselves and make them re-enter that reincarceration cycle. Second chances and opportunities to rebuild one's life after an arrest or incarceration are critical to not only returning citizens, but also to build a strong and safe Michigan. The state of Michigan and this body has taken important steps in recent years to pass legislation to support the returning citizens on their path to redemption and rehabilitation by enacting historic criminal justice reforms like the Clean Slate legislation, which expunged Michiganders' records, and we're working to establish the Returning Citizens Initiatives to ensure returning citizens have the vital documents that they need to successfully rejoin our communities. But we still have much more work to do to ensure that all Michiganders have access to second chances and opportunities to build a healthy life in our communities. I encourage my colleagues to join me to stand with those that have served their sentences and make sure that they know this House believes in a second chance for all people in this state. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The question for the House is the adoption of House Resolution 90. All those in favor of the resolution will say aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Continuing on the order of motion and resolutions, move to take up House Resolution 8-7.
Without objection, so ordered. The clerk will read.
House Resolution number 8-7, introduced by Representative Fitzgerald, resolution to declare May 1 through the 7th, 2023 as Tardive Dyskinesia Awareness Week in the state of Michigan.
Speaker recognizes Representative Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today in support of my resolution, House Resolution 87, recognizing May 1 through 7 as Tardive Dyskinesia Awareness Week in the state of Michigan. Seeing as this resolution is intended to build awareness surrounding tardive dyskinesia, I thought it was appropriate to take a moment to speak to the esteemed members of this chamber about the impacts and effects of the neurological condition. Tardive dyskinesia is, as mentioned, a neurological condition which can be developed due to the prolonged use and treatment of various mental health and gastrointestinal disorders with dopamine receptor blocking agents, or DRBAs. Through this prolonged use of DRBAs, tardive dyskinesia can develop, which is an involuntary movement disorder characterized by uncontrollable, abnormal, repetitive movements of the face, torso, and/or other body parts. If you have seen or know someone with tardive dyskinesia, you can see the terrible impact it has on people's physical, emotional, and social well-being. And because only 70% of people with TD have been diagnosed, awareness building is important to ensure that those suffering may be encouraged or able to see the signs of the disorder and seek treatment. And right now, there are actually only 2 treatments that have been developed and approved by the FDA. So today, I ask my colleagues to support this resolution to help bring awareness to this disorder, and I encourage those who may be suffering to be screened for the care that they may need. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The question for the House is the adoption of House Resolution 87. All those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Continuing the order of motion and resolutions, I move to suspend Rule 71.
Majority Floor Leader moves to suspend Rule 71. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay. Rule 71 is suspended. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Continuing on the order of motion and resolutions, I move to take up House Resolution 88.
Without objection, so ordered, the clerk will read.
House Resolution number 88, introduced by Representative Andrews, a resolution to declare May 1, 2023 as International Workers' Day in the state of Michigan.
The question before the House is the adoption of House Resolution 88. All those in favor of the resolution will say aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Continuing the order of motion and resolutions, I move to take up House Resolution 89.
Without objection, so ordered, the clerk will read.
House Resolution number 89, introduced by Representative Morse, a resolution to declare April 2023 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in the state of Michigan.
Speaker recognizes Representative Morse.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today I rise in support of my House Resolution 89 to declare April as Sexual Assault Awareness in Michigan. Please do not mistake the lateness with which this resolution is being introduced as an indication that we do not support our sexual assault survivors in this state. While it is true that Michigan currently has some of the weakest laws in the country in this regard, today is a new day. And with the introduction of this resolution, as well as a package to strengthen laws on behalf of survivors, we will soon have the opportunity to prove to sexual assault survivors that we believe them and want to help them find justice and healing. I heard a statistic today that was shocking. The average age of sexual abuse reporting is 52 years old. That means many, many survivors of child sexual assault lose their opportunity for justice, often before they even understand what happened to them. The sad truth is, the vast majority of child and adult sexual assault is committed by someone the victim knows and trusts. With the case of children, it's often a family member, a coach, clergy, or some other trusted family friend that commits the heinous crime. Despite the more recent misuse of the term grooming, which has been wrongly used to malign the LGBTQ community, the definition is when a person engages in predatory conduct to prepare a child or young person for sexual activity at a later time. According to childsafe.org, the 7 stages of grooming include identifying and targeting the victim, gaining trust and access, playing a role in the child's life, isolating the child, creating secrecy, initiating sexual contact, and controlling the relationship. These trusted adults use intimidation and fear to control their victims and maintain their secrecy about their crimes for years. Aside from child sexual abuse, sexual assault can and does happen to people of all ages, races, and genders. It is our duty as leaders in Michigan to not only reduce the incidence of sexual assault, but to strengthen our criminal justice system as well as support the survivors through it all. Survivors are often not believed, encouraged not to report, and left to deal with lifelong trauma as a result. Michigan has had a very recent history of sexual predators, including Larry Nassar and Robert Nelson, that were allowed to continue their heinous crimes on a very grand scale for years. While these cases made headlines, most cases of sexual assault remain shrouded in secrecy and with a lack of justice. This is beyond unacceptable and frankly a stain on our state. We as a body should be doing everything we can to protect sexual assault survivors, making it safe for them to report, supporting them through the judicial process and beyond, and holding their assailants accountable. Today, I ask my colleagues to stand with sexual assault survivors and support this resolution. Thank you.
The question before the House is the adoption of House Resolution 89. All those in favor of the resolution will say aye. Those opposed say nay. The resolution is adopted. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Continuing the order of motion and resolution, I move to suspend Rule 71.
Majority Floor Leader moves to suspend Rule 71. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay. Rule 71 is suspended. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Continuing the order of motion and resolution, I move to take up House Resolution 91.
Without objection to order, the clerk will read.
House Resolution number 9-1, introduced by Representative Hope. Resolution to declare April 28, 2023 as Arbor Day in the state of Michigan.
Question before the House is the adoption of House Resolution 91. All those in favor of the resolution will say aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Move to the order of third reading of bills and take up calendar item number 36, Senate Bill 18, and place it on its immediate passage.
Without objections to order, the clerk will read.
Calendar item number 36, Senate Bill 18, a bill to amend an act to designate March 31st of each year as Cesar E. Chavez Day in the state of Michigan.
Without
People's-
sorry.
People of the state of Michigan enact.
Jumped the gun a little bit, I'm sorry. Without objection, the bill will be considered read for a third time by its title. Are there amendments? There are no amendments. Speaker recognizes Representative McDonald.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Fred Korematsu was a great activist for Japanese Americans. He fought the U.S. government when it did a terrible wrong, incarcerating tens of thousands of innocent Japanese American men, women, and children after America's entry into World War II. Mr. Korematsu was right. The so-called Japanese American internment was completely unjustifiable and never should have happened. I support making Fred Korematsu Day a holiday in Michigan and the nation because I want more people to learn of Mr. Korematsu's bravery and commitment to activism. But there is another reason. I truly hope that Korematsu Day will bring far more attention to this sad era of American history. Many people don't know about the Japanese American incarceration, or they've been told it didn't happen, but I can assure you it did. My husband is a second-generation Japanese American. He was born to Toby and Jim Kubota, both of whom were American, born in America, and forced into incarceration camps as children. Jim was born in Sumner, Washington, Toby in Los Angeles. They were 13 and 11 when they were torn from their homes, their friends, and their schools and relocated to desert camps with their families. Jim went to Minidoka in Idaho, Toby to Manzanar. They lost everything. Years later, when I first met my husband's aunts and uncles, they chatted over dinner about people they knew from camp and what blocks they lived on. I quietly surmised that they were talking about summer camps from their youth, but soon realized they were talking about the incarceration camps and the massive concrete housing blocks they were forced to live in. That was their life for years, as children. When they were released years later, they weren't allowed to return to their home states. That's how my parents-in-law ended up in the Midwest. Their families were again told where to live and forced to move east. My father-in-law, Jim, took his anger about the incarceration into adulthood. He was a quiet, dignified man who seldom raised his voice, but became a fiery orator when it came to President Roosevelt's Executive Order 9066. He spoke about it to many audiences over the years. When his work took his family to Phoenix, Arizona, Jim volunteered at the nearby site of the old Gila River internment camp, taking people on tours of the site, explaining to them what the incarcerations were like and educating them about the immoral policy that interrupted so many innocent lives. For his 80th birthday, Jim organized a trip for 3 generations of family members to visit Manzanar and learn more about the incarcerations. Jim told my husband and me that he especially wanted our 2 daughters, whom we adopted from China, to learn the history of the incarceration from him so they would pass it down to their children. My mother-in-law, Toby, is still living. She turned 90 in January, but sadly, Jim passed away 2 years ago from COVID. By speaking to you today, I'm doing my best to honor Fred Korematsu, as well as my dear father-in-law, Jim Kubota. But we also need to enshrine true histories of the United States as some push to erase them. I urge you to vote yes in support of Fred Korematsu Day of Civil Liberties and the Constitution in Michigan. Thank you very much.
The question for the House is the passage of the bill. A record roll call vote is required. All those in favor vote aye. Those opposed, nay. The clerk will open the board. clerk will close the board, tally, display, and announce the vote.
Madam Speaker, on the question of final passage of Senate Bill 1-8, there are 104 aye votes and 3 nay votes.
A majority of the members elected and serving having voted therefore, the bill is passed. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
I move for immediate effect.
Majority Floor Leader moves to immediate effect. All those in favor, please rise. Immediate effect is ordered. Speaker recognizes Representative Carter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today, it brings me great honor to recognize some outstanding individuals from the city of Pontiac, Michigan. In the West Gallery is Councilman Mikhail Goodman. We have Denise Harris of Healing Hearts. We have Delea Sharp of Identify Your Dreams. We have Autumn Butler and a whole bunch of people from Oakland Forward. And once again, Madam Speaker, the Pontiac leaders are in the West Gallery.
Will the guests of Representative Carter please rise? Welcome to the Michigan House of Representatives. Speaker recognizes Speaker Tate. Sorry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Would like to welcome a familiar face to the chamber, a former representative of ours, and also our House Democratic leader. And it is very apt since we do have, Take Your Children to Work Day. We see an entire spectrum of those, but really glad that former representative, former Democratic leader Christine Gregg can join us today, and want to welcome her to the chamber.
Colleagues, please join me in welcoming Representative Gregg, the guest of Speaker Tate, to the Michigan House of Representatives once again. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Speaker, I move that the House proceed to order motion resolutions.
Without objection, so ordered. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
I move that committees be given leave to meet during the balance of today's session.
Without objection, so ordered. Committees are given leave to meet. Speaker recognizes Majority Floor Leader Ayash.
Just let the members know there will be no further voting when the House adjourns to stand adjourned until Tuesday, May 2nd at 1:30 p.m.
Without objection, so ordered. The House will stand at ease at the call of the chair.